Auto Supply, located at 4439 2nd Street North in Folkestone, Georgia, is owned and operated by the Dasher family. They have everything you need, bumper to bumper, for domestic and foreign car parts. Big truck operators, they have you covered as well with belts, seals, hoses, welding supplies, and so much more. They even have lawnmower parts, blades, and accessories. Stop by today and see the whole crew. Miss Joe, Pam, Little Sammy, Stephen, Dylan, and Big Sammy himself. It's Folkestone Auto Supply.
Folkestone Pharmacy and Electronics, located at 3885 Main Street in the heart of downtown Folkestone. They're Folkestone's original hometown pharmacy with 49 years serving the community. They have everything you need, including household items, prescription medications, high-tech electronics, and much more. Their experienced and friendly staff in the pharmacy and electronics department are ready to serve you. Folkestone Pharmacy and Electronics is a proud sponsor of Charlton Sports. Go Indians!
Good evening and welcome back to the Coach Mack Show, our season finale for the 2017 football season. I'm Adam Bell along with head coach Rich McCorder. Coach, man, I've had a blast this year. It's been a fun ride.
It really has been a great year. Coming off the last year with the 3-6 and never really getting anything going last year and dealing with injuries and so forth. And then this year, really, it all started back in January with a great 16 weeks in the weight room, and then with spring football, and then summer, and then right into the season with the scrimmage at Pierce County, then with Brantley County. It was really, the kids did a great job. The coaching staff, I thought, did a great job this year. A lot of interest in the community for this group of kids. So it was a really enjoyable year. Fun year, and for me personally, I just excited about where we got it back to, and excited about hopefully keeping it at this level, maybe even a step higher if we can in the near future.
I know you guys, the staff, the players, y'all did a fantastic job. I mean, coming back from 3-6 in 2016 to here we were in the semifinal game. And our only 3 losses, you may have already mentioned it, but our only 3 losses were teams that are in the Final Four. You can't beat that.
Teams still playing, and very, very good football teams we went against and we lost to this year. But again, I think our kids, even in those games, our kids put up a great fight, played hard, and that was a big emphasis this year, was great effort. And I think our kids gave us that all year long, and it's hard to complain when the kids are giving you everything they got.
Well, Coach, if you don't mind, let's dive into Friday night and what happened at ECI, and we'll have some highlights and all as we go through that as well.
ECI is a traditional power for as long as we've been in the playoffs, and we've seen them in there also. Last Friday night, ECI was just a strong football team, big, physical, great athletes. If you were there in person, you could see what I was talking about when they took the field. Defensive line, just very, very tall kids everywhere on their football team. As far as passing the ball, with Eric Daniels, one of our running backs, having a knee injury, and then also our next running back, which is Michael Elliott, having a knee problem. Really, we were left with no other thing to do than throw the football, and when we ran it, run with AJ, and AJ ran the ball 12 times for 52 yards and a touchdown, and Raekwon ran it 4 times, 29 yards, and also a touchdown. So with 17 carries, we just weren't able to get a lot going on the ground, which you look at what we have on the field. Our best talent is at wide receiver and quarterback. So we used what we felt like was our best talent, our best option to win the football game. And AJ threw the ball 31 times for 18 completions for 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, another very good game by him, both running and throwing the ball. Defensively, it was a real struggle for us. We got outpowered, outmanned, whatever you want to say. Schematically, I was really pleased with our plan going in. I felt like Coach Pender, Coach Woods, and Coach Gabe Wittenberg did a great job, with the schematics of it. Just having a plan that was set up to go against what we were facing, that style of wing T. But it was just at the point of attack, we were just getting whipped physically. Nothing we can really do about it. We got to where we were blitzing into the play, trying to make something happen, which in return, if you don't make something happen when you blitz into a play, you'll give up a lot of yards. But it was really, after a while, it was the only thing we could do was just try to run right into the point of attack and throw some people in there and try to make plays. But then you have the counter and the passing game off that, which they're a smart team. They knew what to do off that, and they had 414 yards running the football, 76 yards passing the ball. So it was really just a tough night for our defense. Receiving Saquon Clark the last couple of weeks, people have really worked hard in shutting down Raquan Anderson, our best wide receiver. So Saquon Clark has come up big. 4 catches for 134 yards, 33 yards in average with 2 touchdowns. Raquan still had a solid night catching the ball, 5 catches, 79 yards. Keyshawn Williamson, 5 catches for 55 yards. Brantley Sloan, 4 catches for 44 yards. All of them really good averages. All of the averages were, like I said, Saquon 33 yards, Raquan 15 yards, Keyshawn 11 yards, and then Brantley 11 yards average catching the football, which is really outstanding as far as that goes. And that's really the only thing we had going for us that was really any good. 17 first downs for us, 27 for them. You're going to get better officiating when you get in these games, and I thought our officiating was really good. Great. I thought they did a great job. No complaints about that. Leading tacklers, when your defensive back is your leading tackler, you've had a rough night. But Saquon Clark, not a very big guy. I think on the roster, when we did the roster at the beginning of the year, Saquon's 5'7", 135 pounds, and I don't even know if he weighs that much. But he came up and he would throw his body in, led us in tackles with 8.5. Eric Daniels also tied him with tackles with 8.5. But again, great effort. Just didn't have enough on the defensive side of the ball to hang with these guys. ECI is a great football team. I think ECI and Irwin's going to be a good matchup. 2 great wing T football teams, 2 good defensive football teams. That could be a really good semifinal game.
Let's hit on some highlights, Coach, from Friday. Is that all right?
Yep.
And this first one, we'll start off with the fumble recovery right off the bat in the first quarter. Trayvon Green, I believe.
Well, it's something that our defensive coaches stress all year long. Securing the tackle first and foremost, but also getting a hand in and trying to rip out fumbles. And right here we did that. We got guys running the football and always trying to reach in there and grab and yank it out. I can't really tell who caused the fumble. It may be Bryce Manning, maybe. But again, number 6, Trayvon Green had 2 fumble recoveries in the game, and kind of right there where he needs to be to make the play. But again, it was we thought that was huge. That gave us the ball right back, and we went right down to score, took the lead, 7-0. We're feeling great, and then all of a sudden here they come, and just not a lot we can do about it.
And that fumble recovery led to the following drive, obviously our first points of the game. This is pass play that sets up the touchdown a little bit later on.
Right here we have a smash route, really good throw. It's a route that we love to run, and all it is you're throwing it to grass. The outside receiver is going to press inside hard and then break it to the corner. Some people call it a corner route. We call it a smash route. something you see at all levels of football. It's something really during the year. I think we should have thrown a little bit more of them. But again, we practiced a lot this week on that, and we felt like that would be a route that was going to be available to us. And it's a great throw right here to AJ, to Raekwon, right? To Raekwon, and got us right down the goal line.
As you can see in this shot, Coach, boy, our travel and our road warriors showed up, didn't they?
I tell you, they really did. And, I wasn't disappointed at all with our players. Appreciate their effort, and of course our band cheerleaders are always great, but I really appreciate the people who made the trip up, the 2.5 hours, and supported us and supported the kids, and really disappointed that we couldn't do better for them. But that's the way it goes. That's football.
That's football. This is the touchdown run by Raekwon that was set up by that fumble recovery earlier.
Hey, here we are in our warrior set, and again coming off the football with our entire front's running a zone step, and right here we're zone stepping to the left, supposed to be going to the left, everybody, but Raekwon finds the opening and gets it in there, and Raekwon makes them right, and that's the idea of running the zone. People run the zone at college and pro level, and now a lot at the high school level, and right here you can see Raekwon makes the front right, and that gets it in and does a great job. Next year you'll see Raekwon. He'll be at quarterback for us. We're going to do a lot more zone reads, quarterback traps, true, running quarterback type of stuff, with him having the ability to still throw a great football to Saquon and to Brantley Sloan. So we're still excited about what we have coming back as far as those guys. I know we'll probably talk more about that at the end.
This next one is the 40-plus yard run, touchdown run by AJ.
Again, drop back, got routes going on. They're playing man coverage. We knew that, which we knew would going to open up some stuff for AJ to run the football. AJ takes his step drop, takes his post-snap read. If you don't like it, go get what you can get. And right here, he does a great job, gets set up and has a little pressure from his right side, but takes off to the left side, man coverage, and was able to get it in. Great job by him, and some things we hope to see Raekwon do next year also in that position.
The next one is AJ to Saquon Clark, who really came on at the end of the season. Saquon,
fantastic job. What a tough guy. Not real big, but he's real tough, and he's a guy. He's a sophomore. Someone we're hoping they're going to get thicker and heavier in the weight room, and you'll see even more of this from him next year. Great pass, great catch by those two right there.
Let that go one more. Well, here, we'll go ahead and hit this last one. This is the last play of the game. I mean, if you're going to go out as a senior, throw a 90-yard touchdown pass, right?
Yeah, great job by line, first of all. 4 seniors on the offensive line protecting and getting the ball to right here to Saquon Clark and showing his athleticism for a 90-yard pass. And, AJ can say my last high school play was a 90-yard touchdown. I mean, not many guys can say that. And again, right here, getting it just a great effort. And this shows you what we've been talking about. Don't give up. Great effort all the way to the end. Last play of the game with probably less than 10 seconds to go, we could have just ran the play, take a knee or whatever, just throw it away or anything. But instead what we do is we have a 90-yard touchdown. So again, that shows you the effort that our guys were giving all the way to the very end, and really proud of them.
You got to be excited about the way he's come on toward the end of the season, huh?
No question.
Looking forward to next year with him.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go over the season-ending stats and so forth, and anything you want to get on.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Since 2009, Southeastern Automotive Group has been buying for and selling to most of the franchise dealerships in the area. What if you were able to bypass the big dealerships with the big markups? Buy direct from the supplier. Save thousands of dollars on your next vehicle purchase. Have a trade-in? No problem. With used vehicles in such high demand, Southeastern Automotive Group has dealers ready to buy your trade. If Southeastern Automotive Group doesn't have the perfect vehicle for you, using their vehicle locator program, they will have it shipped in without any hassle or haggling you hate. With over hundreds of thousands of cars available at auctions across the nation, your next vehicle purchase is just a click away.
Okefenokee Rural Electric Membership Corporation has been providing quality electric service at a competitive price to residential, commercial, and industrial customers in southeast Georgia and northeast Florida since 1939. For tips and advice on how to save electricity and stretch your energy dollars, call 1-800-262-5131 and speak to your marketing representative. We are a cooperative owned by those we serve.
Hey Indian fans, did you know you're eligible to join United First Federal Credit Union? We are your hometown financial institution offering services such as online banking, mobile deposit, free checking, and much more. And if you're in the market to purchase a vehicle, our auto loan rates start as low as 2.49%. We are conveniently located at 3773 2nd Street in Folkestone. Rates and terms subject to conditions, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender.
ESP Specialist in Fabrication is located at 169 Little Phoebe Church Road in Folkestone, Georgia. President Mark Pickering and his employees utilize the latest technology with a skilled workforce to supply customers with the best custom fabrication possible. Serving clients at home and abroad makes ESP a premier employer in Charlton County. For all your specialty and fabrication needs, contact ESP at 912-496-2583 today. They're also on Facebook at ESP Specialist Fabrication. ESP is a proud sponsor of Charlton Sportsnet.
All right, welcome back to the Coach Mack Show season finale. Huge numbers this year for the offense. Coach, start off with some offensive stats.
Well, yeah, I'll start off just kind of the way it shows on the page with the rushing stats. With AJ, we felt like a big part of us getting better this year was going to be his ability to run the football, be a true spread quarterback, somebody who runs it along with throwing the football. And 143 attempts with 706 yards, 4.9 average. Again, that right there could be a lot higher, but I think Glenn Hughes, who does our stats, Glenn Hughes is our sports information guy. I'm not sure. I think he took the sacks out of there, so that knocks off yards every time he gets sacked, so there's a few of them in there. But 9 rushing touchdowns along with Raekwon, 69 carries for 514 yards, 9 touchdowns. And Eric Daniels, someone we were going to really depend on in the run game, he had some knee problems later in the year, and we weren't able to use him like we wanted on offense, and so we had to go with the defense as far as that goes. And Michael Elliott, someone we're going to ask to run the football a little bit more next year, along with hopefully be sophomore next year, Tony Cobb. Passing the ball, great numbers in throwing the ball, and that takes your offensive line doing a good job. That takes your receivers running great routes, making tough catches, and also quarterback getting the ball to them. So we really had all 3 of those working for us, the offensive line, the receivers, and the quarterback play. The number you see on there, the 2,725 yards, is impressive, but the number that really to me is impressive is the 64% average. When you talk about NFL quarterbacks, the NFL believes that anything over 60% is good. It's really good. Anything below 60 for an NFL quarterback is not good. College folks, I think, are pretty much the same way. Around 60% is really good. For a high school kid at 64% is very, very good. We do have some pass-friendly offensive plays with the bubble screen and the spot pass are easier throws, and the numbers tend to be elevated when it comes to that. But still, 64% is an excellent number for a high school quarterback, and I think that may top our all-time pass percentage for our school. 64%, I'd have to check on that, but I'm sure it is. 31 touchdown passes, tremendous. People talking to defensive coordinators and other head coaches who play us, they really talked all year long about how hard it was to defend us. They felt like at times we may be the toughest team to defend. It's because of our offensive package and all the things we can do in it. If we had a healthy Eric Daniels, it would have been even better. But I tell you, with the way our guys played on offense, the offensive line really stepping up behind the leadership of Coach Russ Murray. I'm really, really proud of the way our offense plays. Raekwon Anderson, great year, just shy of 1,000 yards in receiving, 12 touchdowns, and then Saquon Clark, Bryant Sloan, Devin Snowden, Eric caught some big balls along with Keyshawn Williams, came on later in the year with 15 catches, 191 yards, so really proud of the job Keyshawn has made. And of course, coming back, you know, we're going to lose Devin Snowden at receiver, Raekwon probably moving to quarterback, and of course Eric at receiver. So, but we still have a lot coming back out there. Losing 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen, so that's going to be a concern for us.
Coach, I took the liberty of adding up some of these totals on that page and feature our offensive line first.
Okay.
These guys, they're the unsung heroes up front. I mean, look at these numbers for the year that I've added up based on the stats from the Indians. 1,800 yards rushing, 28-23 passing, 55 TDs by that offensive line.
Well, it all starts with the offensive line, and probably the most valuable of all of them was our center, Aaron Brazil. He's a 3-year starter at center. It starts with Aaron. He's going to be the most missed right there. We had 4 seniors up there. It was a very experienced group. Then after that, you know, at right guard, our next best offensive lineman, you know, Patrick Milton. Patrick, again, not a very big kid, but what a tough, smart football player and very good student. You know, right tackle, you know, we had number 70, Tyler Cribb, great job, 2-year starter. And then at left tackle, Kyrie Williams, big kid, a kid that may have an opportunity to go play college football at offensive guard, probably more than tackle. And then Grayson Carter, who was a sophomore this year, starting on at offensive guard. He's our only returning offensive lineman. So when you see his play on May 22nd in Camden, that whole offensive line could be brand new, with the exception, I'm sure Grayson will be right back there at one of those spots. But first and foremost, we got to find a center. You know, that's number one priority in any offense in high school or any level, is you got to have that center position ready to go. And we've been lucky the last 3 years with Aaron Brazil. What a great job he's done. So we're going to miss those 4 seniors on the offensive line.
All right, Coach. I know you've got. I wished I could have gotten a picture of that and posted that up, where people would be amazed at the open spots there on the offensive side.
You know, like I said, losing our quarterback who had just an incredible year, that's going to be a huge void. But we feel like, and I'm not taking anything away from any other player on our team, but we feel like offensively we want to be fast and explosive. We want to give defensive coaches, defensive players a tough time, have to defend the entire field. That's kind of been our philosophy. That's the kids we have. We're not really a big football team in size-wise where we feel like we can pound people. We feel like we've had a lot of production out of the spread, and we feel like Raekwon Anderson will do a good job stepping into quarterback. He's got a very good arm, but we're going to be able to do some other things, run the football. We're going to have to find a running back. We talked about Michael Elliott, also Tony Cobb, about playing those positions. We play with 4 wide receivers, sometimes 5. We have coming back, we have Saquon Clark, who had a great year for us, and also Brantley Sloan, be a senior next year, and also not on this sheet, but also he's a returning wide receiver, would be Keyshawn Williamson. Nice-sized kid who's going to have to step up and and continue his good plays. But we're going to look for a couple more wide receivers, definitely a running back, and a big emphasis this year in the weight room is find those offensive linemen.
I know while you were talking about the returning kids, I threw up some offensive features. Three of the four of those kids up here on the screen now are returning with Raquan. Raquan had a huge, totals all season totals for the year. 514 rushing, 941 receiving. I think that puts him up around 4th or 5th on the all-time chart, single season all-time chart.
Yeah, I think it does. He's gonna have a chance to go play Division I football, and it's going to be at the wide receiver. But so many times in the past, you got guys like Champ Bailey had to play quarterback because he was our best football player. And other guys, AJ is one of those guys, Bama Adams, Kevin Davis, those kind of guys were our best football players, had to put him at quarterback to make things happen. So, we'd love to be able to keep Raekwon out at wide receiver, but we really don't know if we have a developed quarterback in the program right now. Of course, that may change over the winter. It may change through spring. We'll try people there, but right now, we're thinking that we're going to have to move our best wide receiver to quarterback. But I say best wide receiver. At the end of the year, he is our best wide receiver, Raekwon. But Saquon, where he came on, what a weapon at wide receiver, and also Brantley Sloan and Keyshawn Williamson. Those guys did a great job at wide receiver. So we still have a lot there. We have an awful lot at wide receiver coming back. Again, the biggest thing is offensive line and running back. We got to find that.
Saquon will probably step up real nicely into that role with Raekwon moving a quarterback. Saquon's probably going to be that go-to guy, and then you got Brantley coming back, that big 6'4" tight end.
Yeah, so, and
he'll have some targets.
And he's a kid. He's right now. Brantley Sloan is probably, like I said, 6'4", 205-pound kid, runs great routes. I look for him next year to probably play at 220 maybe, and we might be able to put him at the end of the line of scrimmage at true tight end, help the running game. But again, he's a very, very dependable wide receiver, great hands. So again, excited about those guys coming back.
Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, there's not quite as many empty spaces on your sheet there, but got some defensive guys here. Here we go. That I wanted to feature as you get into the defensive side of the ball. Got Eric Daniels Sr. He's obviously leaving, and Sean Bolden. They both had great seasons, but you got Travis Ray and Daniel Mack coming back, I believe.
Yeah, we got our entire defensive line coming back, and we're excited about that. Those guys do a great job in the weight room, and I look for each one of those guys to put on even more weight and more strength. So I thought they did a good job this year, but next year I'd like to see that defensive line be dominant. I mean, really try to take over games from the defensive line, position. We've had guys in the past. We've had a couple guys play in the NFL, Larry Smith, Henry McMillan. We've had some great defensive linemen play here, and that's a position that we really stress. It's a position that we look for right away in young kids. So we have really our entire defensive line coming back. We play with usually 4 wide receivers, losing 2 really good ones. Sean Bolden came on and had a great senior year. Really proud of the job he did and really grew up into that position. And of course, even though he was banged up in the later part of the year, Eric Daniels, he's a kid who hopefully we're going to get some colleges to look at him more as a strong safety kind of player. I think it's going to be his position at the next level. But again, Eric Daniels, a 4-year starter. So a great job by him. Michael Elliott coming back. Has good speed, going to be a 2-way player next year. Our leading tackler, Travis Ray, coming back. Our secondary is coming back as far as our 2 corners, who I thought got better as the year went on. Early in the year, they had some struggles. Later in the year, got better. Trayvon Green, Saquon Clark, both those guys are coming back. Technically, our free safety is coming back in Raekwon Anderson, but I took him off there because we'd like to find someone else who could step in and play that position to really we'd like to keep our quarterback off the field. Now, when we had guys with Bama Adams and Kevin Davis, Champ Bailey, those guys did play both ways. We needed them to play both ways. And there's going to be some times where Raekwon will be playing defense, don't get me wrong. But if it's third and short or first and 10, you're probably going to see more off the field than on. We'd like to be able to develop. Coach Pender understands that, and he agrees with that. We're going to try to develop a free safety. We think we have some kids coming back who might be able to step into that, and we're able to keep Raekwon mostly just playing quarterback or offensive side of the ball, and, of course, in the return game. At the college level, I think that he'll be also a Division I punt return, kick return guy. So we're going to have him return our punts and kicks. We're going to try to score touchdowns on anything where we're getting the football or have the football. So we're going to have our best guys out there, and Raekwon will be that guy.
Our season's only been over for 2 days, and we're already thinking about next year.
Well, you know, we've already as a coaching staff, we've already met, and we've already have been talking throughout the weekend, throughout the end of the year, guys that we're going to need to zero in and focus on. And Coach Murray probably has the biggest, toughest job this offseason in filling that offensive line. But we got to find a punter. Really proud of the way Brantley Sloan kicked the football. This year, what we'll try to do with him is he's pretty much automatic at the extra point distance, but we'll try to increase his distance this year. We'd love to see him kicking 25, 30, maybe 35-yard field goals this year, and we feel like we can get that in him, but we have to find a punter, no question. And a long snapper, again, we talk about Aaron Brazil doing such a great job on offense at center. Aaron Brazil did a great job for us at long snapping also. So we're really going to have to find a long snapper and a punter. Those two kind of go hand in hand. So once we try to identify those people, and we're not going to wait long to do that, we're going to start working on it, being that we have great weather around here. In the wintertime, we'll have those 60, 70-degree days. We're going to get out there and we're going to start finding punters and long snappers right away, and then getting those guys to work together as the off season goes on.
Spring's going to be hopping, isn't it?
We're looking forward to it. We gave the kids our May schedule, and May schedule's ready. May 1, May 1st, we're doing our all sports physicals. May 2nd, we start spring practice. And then we finish up with spring football back over in Camden County on the 22nd, 3 days for graduation. Another big scrimmage over there. I told our kids, I know Camden's getting better. We got to get better, and we look forward to that thing. We want to play well. We want to have a good showing. We want to really compete at a high level in that thing. And I know I talked to Larry Carter, our head junior high football coach, and he's going to start spring practice on May 2nd, just like us. And hopefully on May 18th, Friday, May 18th, we're going to have a spring football junior high scrimmage out here again. Hopefully we can work that out again. But yeah, we've got planned between now and Christmas, we're going to keep working hard. Get the kids in the weight room. We've already adjusted our groups for our returning players. And then what we're going to do is, of course, take our Christmas break and get away from it and relax from it. And we get back to school early January. We've got 16 weeks marked off where we're going to get after it as hard as we can in the weight room. I told our players we got to put on some size. We got to put on muscle. You know, the good Lord, He's in charge of that height. We can't do a lot about the height. We can't make a lot of you guys taller. We'd love to, but we can control, you know, how much muscle we put on to a point. You know, our speed and quickness. We talked about track. The guys who are not playing baseball or tennis or golf, we're going to have them out there for track. And Coach Pender and Coach Woods are going to charge the track program. And that's going to be one of their goals, is to get our track program up to a higher level than it's been quite some time. And I know that a guy like AJ, track was so important for him. The reason he had the year he had, in my opinion, is the weight room and track. I think track really made the difference in him, lengthened his stride, made him faster, making him those rushing touchdowns, the 9 rushing touchdowns, that's track, in my opinion.
It just keeps on going. Well, we're looking forward to the football team came up here today. They cleaned out the lockers for the final time this year. Basketball starting, but you've got wrestling, then immediately jump into track, which I know you just mentioned. That's huge with football. The relationship between track and wrestling with football, it really coincides. I mean, we've seen several. Tammy's had pictures of Michael Elliott, one of the wrestlers, making tackles. You'd swear he's on a wrestling mat out there.
It goes hand in hand. You look at a lot of great defensive football players. They were all great wrestlers in high school. You can look it up. We've showed the kids a story about Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was a state champion high school wrestler down in Florida, and he'll tell you that just went right into football. The same thing. So we would love to get more guys involved in our wrestling program. But the biggest thing, we're going to get after the weights and get stronger and so forth. And we'll have our awards program. We'll get that to you later in January and all that. And I just can't thank enough people. Dr. John Laird, superintendent, principal, Dr. Josh Howard, Jessica Cruz, our athletic director, of course, all my assistant coaches, and I really appreciate the job all those people do. And Coach, our road warriors, mentioned them, the guys that just get on that bus and take us everywhere we need to go. Jeff Highsmith, Tommy Bryant, Mr. Russell Murray. Those guys drove us up to Commerce, 6.5 hours, played a football game. They made it all the way back with only one pit stop, I think, and only one bus breaking down. So those guys do incredible things. And, of course, Brian Hewlin, just the only quarterback club president, well, we've really had, W.D. Cruz really started off the booster club before I got here, but then Brian Hewlin took it over when I became head coach, and what a great job he does. We're always looking for donations and quarterback club. There's things we like to do during even the winter. We want to keep feeding the kids after workout something. The T-shirt program, we like to give the kids T-shirts when they achieve certain goals in the weight room, and of course camps and so forth throughout the year. We'd like to take our kids to it. A lot of people, we really appreciate what they've done, and I can keep going on and on about thanking people, but one last people I'd like to really mention would be Advanced Rehab. Advanced Rehab, they're out here on Friday nights. They support us with donations, and also every Monday morning I'll give them a call up there at Advanced Rehab, and they really do a lot of really good things for us, taking care of our players, and can't thank those guys enough.
I know you just talked about the team physician and therapist. We had a relatively safe season this year. I mean, all things considered, we had some bumps and bruises, but nobody, I think, got it put out.
No, and to me, that credit goes to the weight room. You talk about, when I first came here as an assistant in 1988, we didn't have a big numbers of football players, but we also had zero weight program, none whatsoever. And I can remember after each and every game, we didn't know if we would have enough players to play the next week. We had shoulder injuries, all sorts of injuries, severe knee injuries, but a lot of shoulder injuries. And then once I became head coach, we really got that weight program going, and we noticed a real big decline in injuries, especially severe injuries. Now, the knee injuries we've had, believe me, I believe this. I truly believe this, that they would have been very, very serious knee injuries if it wasn't for our strength program. We'll have a kid go down, it may be a knee problem, but he's right back in a few plays later, he's playing, or the next week he's playing. It ends up being just a sprain in the knee or a minor injury in the knee. And to me, and our trainers and our doctors agree with this. He says, listen, the injuries they're sustaining would have been catastrophic in the past, would have been completely blown out knees probably if it wasn't for the strength program. Knock on wood now, we haven't had a shoulder injury in over 2 years. And I believe a lot of that all that has to do with our strength program. when we lift weights, we just don't lift weights to look good. We lift weights to try to make sure our players are safe when they play. We work a lot with the neck, the upper shoulders, the traps, the deltoids, and we do a lot of work with the hamstrings, which offset the quad, which, you know, stabilizes the knee. And I believe that's what we've been able to make this sport as safe as any sport we have, really. You look at wrestling, you look at basketball and everything else, the strength program is what keeps our kids healthy. I really believe that.
Coach, I want to thank you for allowing me and Tammy to be a part of this thing. We've had a great time. Looking forward to doing it again next year.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Anything else you want to hit on before we leave?
No, just appreciate the seniors that have left. Great group of seniors. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody who sponsors the shows.
Definitely thank our sponsors.
Yeah, and the games and so forth. And appreciate everybody who supports Charlton County football. And the list is long, and a lot of people out there really appreciate what our kids do, and we appreciate their support.
All right. Thank you all for watching. I definitely want to thank my sponsors. We would not have covered those playoffs without those folks. And enjoy the off season, folks, and we'll see you next year in 2018. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.